Okay, well, I'm gonna do a bird tutorial. It's not gonna be advanced. Um, it's just gonna reset, and I guess we'll fire the thing up. This is gonna be a beginner. Tutorial. Alright, so what's good, everyone? This is the RPG Gaming Thief, the RPG Godfather, rolling in, rolling deep, which is going to be, we're going to come in with a quick, basic E.V.O search reading bird tutorial. Now, I know a lot of people that want to pick up the game. They'll go to the speedrun.com channel and they'll see a bunch of different categories. Don't let that throw you off or anything. There's really two main categories that anybody really cares about, which is any percent mammal and any percent bird. Now, I already did a mammal percent tutorial, but that tutorial got deleted. So figured, why don't we just go ahead and do another tutorial, but this time we'll be covering the bird tutorial. Now, I should be able to get the other footage back, don't worry about all that, but let's just get right into it. I'm going to cover each of the stages and what you would want to do. So I'm going to take it nice and slow. Now, I'm not going to go super fast like I normally would in a speed run, and we're going to try to cover everything. So let's go ahead and roll it up, rolling deep. So this is E.V.O Search for Eden, a very rare, very hard to find game on the Super Nintendo or Super Famicom. I'm playing on the Famicom version, so just stick with me here, because some of the evolutions are in different areas on English, like, let's say the fins or where the tail should be or something. Not that that's what it is, but like certain evolutions are actually in different locations. Recording evolutions, there's way more text characters on Japanese, and on English there is just one like full little screen where it's a lot easier to record evolutions because you can just easily go down to the end, whereas on Japanese there's all these characters, you gotta scroll all the way down. So recording evolutions is slower on Japanese, but the text is overall faster. So they're, I want to say just seconds within each other, so it's not like a huge deal what cartridge you speedrun on, whether it's English or Japanese. Just want to cover that. So if you want to play seriously on console or something, you probably want to go for the Japanese version, because if you're looking to buy an E.V.O Search for Eden cart, it is really expensive to get an English cart, whereas I think I've seen a Japanese cart pretty cheap recently for like $50. That's a fucking deal. So I'm surprised. I'm about to just buy an extra cart just because that's so cheap. Like, just to jack the prices up on some of the other, like, it goes up from like 70 on usually. Like, you're looking at least like $60 or something for a Japanese cart. If you find you can find some better deals here and there. An English cart, however, is like $200, like towards the minimum. Like it, and we're talking if you want these things box, and if you want them in mint condition, you're looking at thousands of dollars that you're gonna have. But if you're gonna be playing the game, don't ever buy a cartridge of this game sealed and unseal that bitch. You want to keep that bitch sealed. If you want to play the game, either play it on emulator or get a loose cart, because you don't want to, destroy the collective value that this thing has. sealed up and all that. But so we covered that. Now let's just go ahead and get right into it. I'm gonna actually just make this a nice, quick and easy tutorial. So hopefully everyone just keeps up with me. We're gonna go level by level and in depth on each level. So I'm gonna go ahead and fire up the timer to go along with this, just to let us know how long we've been going for. But it's not gonna be any significance, and I'm gonna slow down then. So timer starts actually on selecting this first stage. So, which is kind of weird to me because I thought it was on the title screen, or should be on the title screen, because that's where most speedruns do start. But this is just like as soon as you gain control of your character timing, so it's like SDA timing. But in all the runs that, because I guess there's just not a racing community for this game, which is why we do SDA timing for the most part. But let's just go ahead and fire it up. Timing starts on selecting this first stage. Let's just get right into it. Too much nonsense there at the beginning. So we started up here, and you want to go to the top of the water. Now, double tapping the control pad here. So double tap down, double tap up, double tap right, double tap. You can dash in this game, which is the first thing you're going to need to know in a speed run is how to move faster. So if you double tap, you'll be moving it. So right away in this stage, you want to move to the top of the water. Ignore all the enemies in a speed run. You're only going to get 10 experience from these jellyfish here. So like I was grinding these jellyfish over here, for example. All I do is get 10 experience, which really doesn't help at all. So the fastest thing to do here, you start here, come up to the top of the water, and then head straight right. And just, the reason why we go to the top of the water is to avoid the enemies. Okay, and sometimes you'll get them all the way like that, and you just swim right past them. If they get in your way, like let's say like this, you want to jump over them, you know, whatever, just get creative with that. So that's stage one, very straightforward, where you're just swim to the top of the water, go right, there you go, there you have it. Stage 2, let's fire it up. So here, there's a little cave here, so right when you get here, just go straight right, hit straight right in. Sometimes these enemies will get in your way, you can kill them, whatever, just get creative, whatever, just head in the cave. And then I like to move up a little bit here, just sort of, you know, sometimes he'll be out your way or in your way, whatever. Different RNG with those purple guys. And then you're going to eat this yellow crystal here, mash through the text. And as soon as the text is done mashing, we hit L and R. L and R serves as the same function in Super Mario World as start and select, which will just take you right out of the stage. And in this game, you don't necessarily have to already have beat the level. You just have to complete all of the events in a level and leave it. So instead of heading in the cave and then heading out of the cave, or you know, going left and leaving, we can just
rolling in.
L and R right there after we've collected that yellow crystal. So now let's head on to the third stage. Now this is where the RNG factor is, and let me get into that. It's just the same as the last stage. You just head straight in. Right now we have two like purple guys. It's a little bit trickier. Like I said, if they get in your way, just you can kill them. You can go under them. You can either fight them or go around them, whatever. Here you got these guys. They're a lot easier to get around. A little bit of text here, and then there's this red crystal right here. Now this is the main segment here. There's a random chance whether you're going to get a manta ray, which is a brown looking stingray kind of thing, or you're going to get eel, which you want to get the eel. He has a lot faster movement, which is the main thing. The manta ray I think has better like bite or something, or it's tackle. I'm pretty sure it's just tackle power is all he has, and he's really slow. You don't want him. So when you eat this red crystal here, you're going to evolve into one of two creatures. So I got the eel there. That's the optimal thing that this is what you want. So it's a good thing we can show this off here. If you get the manta ray, you're going to be moving slow, so you're not going to be able to catch up to these yellow fish on this stage. So from the last stage, we carry on to this stage here. So we've got this stage. If you're the manta ray, you're just going to want to move left and right on the bottom of the screen, and eventually the event will be triggered, then you'll leave out of the stage on the left. But if you get the eel, like I have right here, you're going to want to catch up to these yellow dolphins, or whatever they are, little kid dolphins, whatever, and you want to grind out for experience. Now sometimes they'll drop special meat, which is like sparkling rainbow meat, and it gives you a multiplied or a bonus of your normal experience that you would get. And so if you get special meat here, it's worth 100, and the regular meat's worth 25. So it's like a ×4 multiplier here on these enemies in particular. And so what we're trying to do here is get to 500 experience points if we get lucky enough to get special meat, or just settle with 200 experience, which is what happens 95% of the time. Like, there's that odd, 5% chance or 1%, whatever, that you're going to get 500 meat. So let's just go ahead and show you what right here. So we're going to, remember, double tap like this to catch up, and we're going to tackle with the A button. So when you double tap and hit A, you'll enter into a tackle phase. You do that right before you hit the enemy, and you will defeat them. So just like this here, and also honorable mentions here, we have Darkwing Duck as main tutorial, which I did post there. And there's a special meat. If you get enough of those in grinding this out, you will be able to reach 500 points. So there was two special meats. This is getting close. Pretty sure you can do it with 2 with optimal killing there. I was not quick enough though, because I was trying to explain and whatnot. When you're done here, if you have 500, you'll go over to here, which is the hands and feet, and you'll select whatever upgrade you can get. So I usually stop at 200 unless I've gotten a special meter, which I did get a couple special meats there. So if I was faster, I could have gotten to 500. With 2 meats, it's possible, but you have to be really, really quick. So it's most of the time you're going to be selecting this option, which is the 200, which is a good thing. I guess show a common thing that's going to happen. But if you get to 500, you're going to select the 500 here on hands and feet, this last option to the right here. So since I can't afford it, I'm going to select the 200 here. This is going to give us a speed boost as well as a tackle boost. And then when we're done there, we're going to kind of go left and right on that volcano. We kind of go to the left and the right of it. The very left and very right of it is kind of what I... And it'll trigger the volcanoes to erupt, and then the bubbles that are blocking on the left and the right of the screen will disappear when the volcanoes start to erupt. And since we start on the left side of the screen and you can leave on either side, we're going to most likely leave on the left side every time because you're closer and you don't have to travel all the way to the right for no reason. So that's that stage right there. So hopefully, and good luck to everyone, hopefully they pull off the 500 meat in a run, because that's pretty badass when that happens. Continuing onwards, a lot of times you'll still have the eel at this point, or even the manta ray, and it'll wear off usually. If you're really lucky, you'll get it to wear off right before you get to the blue crystal. I think once or twice I've gotten to the blue crystal with the eel, or really close to it. Like right here, you might run out on a really good run or something, which means that you've optimally done the stuff correctly. So we head to the right in this cave. Be careful and pay attention to what directions we're going. So right when we enter this cave, head all the way to the right, avoid the enemy. I could go on the top to, avoid them. We're going to collect this blue crystal here. It gives us 500 experience points. Now with that, we're going to go down to this option, which would be the dorsal fin. So if you're playing on English, it'll say fin. I've just memorized it to the point where it doesn't matter if what version I play on. I just know what I'm doing. So heading down here to, this is dorsal fin. We select the 500, the most expensive dorsal fin here that we just got with the blue. So all the points that we got from the blue crystal, we're throwing them down on this dorsal fin here. Now back to the top. See, right underneath these rocks, you should be able to get around the crawfish, get around the jellyfish, get around the sharks. And now we're going to head straight to right where we started, and then head down as far as we can go, which looks like this. And once you know, you'll know. Okay, I'm here. It's right past this shark here. Now there's 2 options here. You can do the Darkwing Duck strat, which is to go on the bottom. And now what that does, and let me get into that. If you are on the bottom here, which I think you gotta watch out for that. If you do that, which is why I don't do it, but you can go from the bottom, and what's going to happen is you don't get attacked on the way up. So it's a good safety route, but I don't typically do that, so I'm going to go ahead and kick the, I usually come straight from here and go right and avoid the rocks, just to, because you have to move all the way down here to do that strat, and that's out of the way, and if you get good RNG, it's not going to matter anyway, so I just tap right and see what happens here. So I'm going to avoid... let's see here. I'm just going to get an upgrade here. I guess, just get the tail for 100. And what this does, what I just did is just to do that, just to get my health back. You wouldn't be doing it normally, so don't pay attention to that. I'm just doing it so I don't die here, but I'm going to continue. Once you get past the volcanoes, you're done with that level. That's, I guess, the most complicated or confusing level, but it's not even confusing. You just go right, then back to the beginning, down, right again. Really simple. This stage here, just head straight right, and sometimes you'll have to tackle these guys, which is, pushing A when you're in the dash like that, like that or something. Head in the cave. So now we're in here, and that's just that level. Pretty straightforward, like nothing going on there. This is the final level of the first, the fish era here, and you can tackle those enemies, get them out of the way, or just head right in if you get good RNG. It really depends there. I like to head up here to the top once again, as this helps me avoid these crawfish at the bottom who are going to ricochet off the walls. If you're at the top here, and you have the hands and feet, and even just the dorsal fin, you should be good if you just double tap here, and you should get around all this. So, and then head to the right here, then head up. Now I'm going to try to go over two different strats here. You can, if you have the hands and feet for 200 in the dorsal fin, you can tackle these guys like that. Or you could do what I do, which I do it all the time, is stop my dash and wait for them to go up and out of my way and then dash. So it'll be just like this. Here, you just go, stop, go, just like that. I like to do that, and you can do that with the dorsal fin alone, so you don't need, because they take if you only have the dorsal fin, which you would have if you're doing the manta ray and you can't get the meat, you'd be stuck there and have to do that. So you'd have to tackle them twice or bite them twice, which is really slow. So I just always kind of do that, and I think it's a little bit faster than tackling them anyway, and it's just what I do. But you can tackle them if you have the hands and feet for 200 and the dorsal fin for 500. So we're going to continue up here. So there's these sharks here. Kind of be careful of them. If you just their life, and you can collect these little starfish here for health if you need, or whatever. But I don't ever do that. So, but I mean, you can do that if you need some health. Head to the top of the water here. This avoids the enemies once again, and then just head right. And you should be getting around. And if they're up to the top, you can just jump out of the way. So head straight right. You're going to see this little thing right here. At this point, you're going to want to double tap down, get a text box, and then quickly cancel the dash, and then head right into the cave. And here we are at the shark boss. This is the first boss of the game. And there is a slightly more optimal strat than what I do. I go with the consistent strat here, but you can just kind of YOLO dash into him and just, it's really kind of hard to explain. Like, he'll be right out in the open, you dash into him and tackle. The problem with that is it's really risky, and he can kill you in like 2 hits, so not really recommended. But what I really recommend is, once again, like, we've been kind of hugging the top walls for the most of the part. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to hug this top wall up here. You see where it's coming up? And we're not going to dash into this fight. We're going to just, because if we're dash, we're going to be still maintaining that dash as soon as the fight starts. So you'll just be dashing right into the shark, and then you'll have to react immediately. What I like to do is just walk up like this, trigger the fight, Okay, and then I guess during this text box you can hold down right, like right away, or you can just kind of hit a few text, whatever. If you don't feel comfortable with like just mashing text, or like you feel kind of just not starting, I would just hold down right here, because that's what you're going to be doing as soon as the fight starts. And by doing that, he's going to attack you right away. So by holding down right, you're going to avoid his attack, and he's going to hit the wall, the top wall, and bonk into that, and then he'll be stunned there for a little bit. And then while he does that, we're going to be tackling him, because we don't have any jaws, and you don't want to upgrade any jaws for the fish. It's not where you don't get any speed upgrades like you do with the dorsal fin and the hands and feet. So you're not going to be biting him, and biting him is not good anyway. You're probably going to take damage trying to bite him and stuff like that. Tackling works much, much better, and I advise to start learning how to tackle, and I just practice it, whatever you need to do. It's not hard. You just double tap and push A right before hitting an enemy. So we're going to be sort of tackling him, and every time we tackle him, he's going to be stunned again for a little bit. We're just going to manipulate that and just keep rigging him in the corner. So I'll show you what that looks like here, and good luck with learning how to fight the shark. So again, hold down left like immediately if because you're not if you're dashing, if you hold down, you're just going to keep dashing. So that's why we don't do that. So let's just get on with the fight here. So he's going to hit that top left wall. He could hit it a little bit more to the right. I think I hit down left a little too early, but we just keep tackling him, just keep hitting him like that. Shouldn't be a problem. His meat didn't spawn on screen though, which is kind of a problem here, but that's fine. Okay, so normally I have 1,000 experience here. I don't right now. It's not a big problem. The first thing you're going to want to do is upgrade to the 700 tail, which you shouldn't even have this tail upgrade to begin. I just did it for health. As soon as you're done, you get the 700 tail, which is this bottom right thing, and then you get the 300 horn, which is going to do 10 dim. And the reason why it's actually optional to grab this horn. You can go without it, so it's not a big deal that I can't get it here. And it's just it helps out with the first boss here, because we're going to be recording this fish evolution to use on the first amphibian boss of the next world here. So since I can't get the 300 horn, I'll just get the 200 instead. It's not a big deal, because that meat was off screen. Looks kind of funky. I usually get the other horn, but so the third option is to record evolutions. So you're not going to have any evolutions to start out with. I already have the 2 because I always have them. So in slot 1 here, we're going to record here, and this is why English. This is where English would be faster, because it's just one sort of rectangular screen here, and you can just go straight to the end, like by tapping, I think, either left or down left or whatever, and you'll be straight on it. Here you have to tap left to get on the far right here, and then I actually do sort of a different hand thing. So if you're playing on Japanese, you're gonna have to, because if you hold down, it doesn't go that fast. If you mash down really quickly, it'll go down faster. So, and I don't use my left, thumb for this. I take my right thumb over and I just go like this. Down to the end there. It's just a little thing that I do that I feel it's better for me. And now that we've defeated the shark, we're going to exit onto the land here. And we're going to evolve into an amphibian. And if you hold left here, you'll actually be able to get what's called a quick door. Or if you push left at a certain time, you have a small window where you're allowed to make an input. And you want that input to be left, and you moving left. And if you successfully do that, you'll go through the door as it's closed. That's how you know you've gotten it. And it saves a couple seconds, so it's kind of significant, but this is like really the only spot that it happens. So let's see. Yeah, I didn't get it there. But you have a small window, I think after that last text box, or the one before it, to move left a little bit. And you'll be able to just enter the door early. It's called an early door. It saves a couple seconds. And I split on the door closing, so we're just going to go ahead and hit next on that. But what happens when you evolve into the next thing, you lose all your evolution points previously, and you basically lose all, like, everything you put into that thing doesn't matter unless you've recorded it, which is why we recorded it on 3. So let's just continue here. Now we hit the amphibian stage. World 1 shouldn't take more than 6 to 6.5 minutes. So we get here. We don't have anything. So we're just going to continue forward here. Just jump. Don't bother with that yellow push crystal. It's just advice of what to do. Now we go up to here. This is an optional stage, but it is optimal in a speed run because it has it contains a green crystal. So we're going to go ahead right. Get these text boxes from the aliens, which appear at the end of the game. So we come here for this green crystal, grab the green crystal, and leave the stage. What that green crystal does is allows you to review your evolution. So it allows you to go back to a previous evolution that you've had. You can't go to any future evolutions, even if you do a New Game Plus, until you get to the dinosaur stage. You can't do anything that you haven't been able to acquire. So like you can't turn into the amphibian as a fish, or you can't turn into there's not even any green crystals as the fish anyway. But when you're in the amphibian, you can't use the green crystal to turn into the dinosaur, the dragon, the gargoyle, the elephant, whatever. You can't do that because you haven't been to that part of the game. Once you reach the dinosaur, you can turn into anything because everything's available to you. But the green crystal will allow us to use an evolution, any evolution that you've recorded, which is why we recorded the fish, because we're going to be using that for a quick kill on the boss. Coming up here, so these next few stages are really slow. We just go from left to the right of the screen. Here's a little water stage. Jump in the water like this, and swim on the top. Like just about any time you're in the water and you're trying to advance, you want to be swimming on the top because it avoids all the enemies. And then we're going to jump out of the water here. And that's all that's going on with this stage. Do not bother with any of the enemies there. They give you 3 experience and are a complete waste of time. They're really hard to kill. Anyway. And then we get to this level. Now that we're on land, there's a sort of mechanic called bouncing off enemies. And if you can continuously bounce off enemies, it's faster than landing. So if you see, like right here, I got a quadruple bounce there, which is pretty good. And the longer you can stay airborne, the better. But because as soon as you land, you lose all your momentum. So even though you may have to go to the left, like out of your way to jump on some of these enemies, it's faster than landing. So like here, you got a double jump. That guy was coming after me. Jump off him. Jump off him. And it's RNG where these enemies are going to be placed, so it's going to kind of be different every time, but nothing going on with those stages. Just get to the left and right as possible. Then we get to this stage, which is the stage right before the first boss. And immediately on this stage, we are going to review our evolution, just because it's slightly faster at this point, and you shouldn't have a problem. If you don't feel comfortable with this next boss fight coming up, you might want to wait until after this stage to, like, maybe some of your first runs, maybe, don't evolve right away or something, because you may not feel comfortable with the boss, whatever it is. But optimally, right when we get to this stage, we are going to review our fish evolution and jump over all the enemies and avoid them. So it's going to look a little something like this. Really get to the stage, hit select. Okay, go down to 4, hit yes, And you should have the first evolution here. Should be the fish. So here we are. And just double tap right and jump. You want to try to, tactically jump over these enemies. Like that right there was good. Just continuously double tap before you jump. Or if you have to jump quickly, just jump just get around the enemies and just keep going. Bottom line. And then we hit the first boss. Now this boss can be very tricky, especially for new players and casual players. I don't have the correct horn that I would have, so the horn is not going to really help me out so much. But again, the horn is optional. You could skip that upgrade and just use purely tackles, but the horn does 10 damage where your tackles are only going to do 6. So it's like 4 more damage, and it just sometimes where the horn gets in the way, if the horn breaks, you get a text box, and that's slow, so you never want your horn to break. Just use it a couple times or a few times. Hopefully it doesn't break. So this stage is going to be pretty fast-paced, so I'm trying to explain everything before we get into this one. I'm going to, immediately when I get into this stage, I'm going to jump and hold right and sort of jump onto the second platform above, and then once I get on that platform, I'm going to double tap left and push A, and then move right and double tap push A, move right, double tap push A. So it's continuously trying to rig the boss into the left corner, and I'm just continuously tackling him, and then the horn will come into play sometimes, because if you don't tackle before you or push tackle before the horn hits him, the horn's going to hit, and you do want the horn to hit if you do use the horn strats, which again are optional because it does do a little bit more damage. But yeah, so I'm just going to show you the boss fight. I've explained it pretty much. We're immediately entering the fight, and right after the text box is jump and hold right, and then you'll get on the second platform, and then just keep double tap and pushing A to the left, and moving right afterwards a little bit so you can do it again. So let me show you what a fight's going to look like here. So, I mean, you can hold right immediately, or just jump and hold right, either way. It's going to look something like this. And then actually jump down here on this platform. That was a pretty damn good fight, so I'm glad to show that off like that. Eat all the meat here. So, yeah, again, when you start in the fight, jump, hold right, whatever. You're going to get onto this platform. You want to hold down and push B, and you'll jump down a platform. And this is just a mechanic in the game. You're going to want to be on this platform here. And when you review an evolution, it's got a limited amount of time. So because I was spending the time to explain and go more in detail with this fight, because this is a pretty important fight in the run, so I wanted to cover it. After a limited amount of time, you're going to run out of your reviewed evolution. It only lasts like maybe 40 seconds to a minute or something like that. 40 seconds to a minute and a half at most. Not very long. That's going to run out, and when it does,
an unmatched ruggedness.
We're going to hit select, and we're going to grab this second back of the head upgrade, which I think is the Keprel, if I'm not mistaken in English. Bottom line, it's this middle upgrade, and it's the second one for 300. This one gives us more speed and I believe tackle, but I don't think tackle's a big. It's gonna give us a speed boost here, so we're gonna grab that since we have the 300 points. And then head right here. You should be the fish still, so you should be jumping. Because the fish doesn't run fast on land. Obviously, it's not supposed to, but it's able to jump. Like a fish out of water would be jumping around it. It's the same kind of concept here. Don't bother with these guys. You can. This guy's going to give you meat that gives you experience, I believe, but the kid's going to take away health. So you just don't mess with these guys in the speed run. Just ignore them and head to the right. They asked you to, I don't know, avenge their brothers. I don't know. You died to the King Bee or something. I don't know. Some kind of storyline there. Anyway, head to the yellow dot here. And again, you should probably still be the fish if everything went well and smooth. So you're going to be using the fish and jumping over these cockroaches on this level. And again, just avoid all the enemies. There's hardly any, like there's only one spot that's used for grinding, and that would be in the bird, which I'm going to show you the bird. This is a bird tutorial, so this is going to spin off from what would be a mammal percent run on the next world. And I'm going to show you what strategies you want to use for the bird. And there's, you know, a slower strat that I might also show off or talk about. But I'm not going to necessarily go into it, I guess. Anyway, so on this stage is typically where you run out of your fish evolution review. So you'll run out like somewhere around here. If you're really good, you'll make it to the next stage with the fish. That's happened a few times before. I made it to the third stage, because that's what happens if you have a really good boss fight and you're not messing around. You might be able to make it to this stage with the fish. It's happened a couple times with me, but usually it's that last stage that runs off. So here we just run right, and sometimes you like jumping right at the end of the screen is a bit faster, but you don't want to land. So I mean, if you can get the jump off, that's fine. Just don't worry about it. It's very minimal time saved, but it does save slight frames here and there. So now we're on to this stage, and this is a boss stage. Right away, this guy's gonna die right here. And he's going to offer you his meat because, he says, well, I'm going to die, so, just go ahead and, preserve, just make a nice little hearty meal out of me. So he's worth 1,000 points, and at this point, that's really useful here. We're going to, for the first time in the run, we're going to get Jaws here for 500. So the first round is always Jaws, and you're going to get the 500 Jaws here because we're going to need that for the bee fight. And then we're going to go for the tail, which is this one here, for 500. And so what we have here is now that tail is going to allow us to jump a lot higher. So we can jump up to these bees here. And we're going to be biting these bees. So now this is the first time that Jaws really come into play. So continue on once you've gotten those two upgrades. And there's going to be a bunch of eggs that are standing still. You can tell the difference. This one here is standing still, so it's going to hatch, and a blue little, like, slimy thing's going to come out. You need to kill all these guys. And the ones that are moving left and right, let's see if I can show the difference here. I'm trying to... So these ones that are moving, you know that these are, you can eat those for health if you need, but you don't, they're not necessary. So, typically you would just keep attacking these guys and ignoring the ones that are kind of rocking back and forth like that. Those aren't necessary to eat. And then get these two guys in. The bee's going to appear after that. So for this fight, we're going to try to get him into a bite lock. It's a pretty easy and simple bite lock. If you do it correctly. I usually don't ever have problems with it. And with that tail, which is why we got that tail, and actually we're going to be using that tail much later on in the game as well, but we're going to be able to jump up to this king bee here and bite him, and we are going to bite lock him, and I'll show you my strategy. It's just sort of bite, move left, move right, move left, so that because every time you bite, you move forward, so we have to move back to about where we were, and then turn back right again and bite again. We're going to be, getting him on the lower ground, because if you have higher ground, which is a good thing, we're going to get him on the far bottom ground, the one that I'm standing on. We're going to get him down there while we're standing on the ledge above that. And that's going to, because he's going to come, every time he gets unstunned, he's going to fly upwards. So you want to get him as low as possible. So you want to get him on this bottom sort of piece right here, the ledge that I'm standing on, while we're standing on one of the two ledges. But I always go on the left side, just because it seems to be easier. But I'll show you what the fight should look like here. Really easy. This is actually one of the easier boss fights, honestly. So let's just go ahead and get into it. So you're going to come on screen, you're going to bite him a few times, whatever. and he's gonna come over here, and then just like this. So we're moving left, turning back right, and biting, so we turn right, and should get him into that lock, just like that. That's what it's gonna look like. We can skip one of the meats here, just don't bother. And once we have all three meats, go down here, which is the dorsal fin, and go to the very bottom 1,000 here. So it's the third 1,000 to, you know, the bottom here, and select that. That's like the, I guess, dragon wings, whatever you want to call it. Looks like that. Pretty sick. It's going to give us a speed up and a boost, a jump boost as well. So it's going to add to our tail pretty much. Mainly looking for the speed boost because we're going to be just traversing through these next levels. So this next stage is a bit tricky because you want to double tap and jump immediately as soon as you can, and until you get to the green crystal on this stage. So we're going to need to review another this evolution again, this amphibian, because he's really good. So we're going to grab a green crystal on this stage. This one can wreck you because these enemies, you can't kill these enemies on this stage, but they can definitely kill you, and they'll pop up. But they pop up in a set, you know, way every time. So you know what you're getting on this stage, is what I want to say. You know that they're gonna pop up in the same area. So if you're doing the same movement every time, you'll get around them. So I'll show you what it looks like here. Again, you're gonna double tap to get into a dash, and then jump pretty much immediately once you get that double tap. Is what we're looking for here. So it'll look a little something like this until we get to the green crystal. Grab that, and then again double tap right like this. Like, it doesn't have to be like immediately. You just have to be like pretty soon if you get that down. And that's how that stage should look like. That was a really good demonstration there of what should happen. You get in there, you grab the green crystal, and you keep going and leave. And now we got two really easy stages that we just jump right through. You want to jump off the enemies once again, because that, especially with the amphibian here who has a huge, majestic leap. You jump off him and jump off him. This, if you can do 3 hops on that level, it's a little bit faster, but not a big deal. And then we got this level again. Hop off enemies if you can, but ultimately just dash right and jump. So pretty straightforward there. That one's really not. You're not going to usually jump off it. Sometimes I think that yellow guy can be able to jump on him, but it's not a big deal. So here we have the queen bee, and this gives a lot of casual players a lot of stress here, but speedrunners, it's not a problem. What we're going to do here is, and there's, I guess, 2 ways of going about the first part of this fight. Let's just go ahead and get right. There's a dragonfly at the beginning here. You need to kill him. Now you can eat the meat, and then, which is what I guess I do it because it's good for my setup. Or you can kill him and then head right and then get the meat to be off the screen. Either way, you'll trigger the queen bee to show up, which is what we're trying to do right away. Is just jump, bite this dragonfly, and again, you can eat the meat or you can ignore the meat. If you ignore the meat, you got to get it off. You got to head right and off, and then you're like really far to the right of the screen, and I'm just not used to that. I'm used to leaping from the left and it getting a perfect leap. And what we're gonna do here is we're gonna jump up, bite the queen bee. It's gonna drop her down to the bottom here, the floor here. And then we're going to turn left and time our bites perfectly here. It's going to be like a bite, like that. Not a bite. It's a bite. Okay, that's pretty much what you want to do here. And we're just going to keep biting him until we get him. Now there's a little bit of a more optimal strat that you can do that Darkwing Duck describes perfectly in his tutorial, and in his runs he does a strat where he does bite. He does the same thing, but then when he gets when the screen stops scrolling, and this is more advanced, but when the screen stops scrolling, then he turns to the right and starts biting the queen bee to the right, And by doing that, it'll kill the bee closer to the right side of the screen, which is where you want to end. So it's a little bit faster, but I would not focus on that or worry about that if you're, unless you're looking for every single second you can save in a speed. So unless you're trying to bot my time or something like that, you're not going to be worrying about that. If you're just looking to pick up the game and speed run, just do what I'm about to do right here. And this is, again, one of the more challenging fights for casual players, which is why I want to get into it and explain it in greater detail. So let's go ahead and I'll show you what I do here. Pretty straightforward. I just eat the dragonfly and his mate here like that. And then you're going to get a few text boxes. Once the text boxes are done, the queen bee arrives. Now I double tap to the right jump, and we're going to pin the queen bee. We're going to bite lock the queen bee so she never gets up. So it should look like this. Okay, and then once the screen stops, and I don't know exactly when that is. I'm not up on that because you would, instead of continuously biting her to the left, you would turn to the right and start biting her to the right because it would get you closer here. But anyway, grab all the meat when you're done, and then we're going to upgrade our jaws to the 1500. That's the only upgrade we're going to do here is the 1500, the fierce jaws, which do 15 damage instead of 5, which we were doing previously. And then we're going to record our evolution, which is 3, over the fish. So we don't need the fish anymore, and we want the amphibian in slot 1 because that's the most commonly used. Like, we don't want to put it in slot 2 or anywhere else. We want to re-record over the fish in slot 1. So look at a little something like this. So you got that, and we're going to be using this amphibian again. It's important that you record that evolution and have these upgrades, and your amphibian should look like this.
Well, if it isn't another fish made nigger.
So there you have it. That was the amphibian stage. Now we are advancing into the dinosaur stage, and since this is a bird percent tutorial, this is going to be a special one because the primary category is mammal percent, so this is the secondary category, which is bird percent. So, I mean, if you're looking to speedrun the game and you're wondering, oh, what category should I do? Because there's, I've made up a bunch, but just know that the two categories that matter and that are more competitive and are more, because there's the any percent mammal and the any percent bird, and I've already covered an any percent mammal run and hopefully get that footage back, but anyway, this is a any percent bird tutorial, which is going to be very intriguing. At the middle of this world, we're going to take a detour to grab the bird. Another big category, I guess the third main category, if you want to call it, would be the New Game Plus category. And in the New Game Plus category, you can start a run with any pre-recorded evolution going into the run. So you can have, the mammal all pimped out, or the bird all, which is actually one of the most useful ones, is the bird evolution to have in a New Game Plus, because it can fly all over the water. It can fly through all the stages without any enemies getting in the way. But that's that, and the New Game Plus would be the other big category, and I have a pretty solid run for that as well. Check that out if you're interested. But moving on here, and then the other category that's major in my opinion is the low percent dino, which means that you don't take advantage of any of the better upgrade. You stick with this form until the end of the game, which is the weakest or the worst form next to the fish, and it's really bad. So let's just get on with it here. World 3, it's the same in mammal until until the frog boss, and we're just going to be going through all these stages. So really not a whole lot I need to explain here that I haven't already explained. Just go from left to the right of the screen, just get it done. So fire up the stage, And then you're going to pull up the menu here, and we're going to review our amphibian that we just recorded, because we have a green crystal. So go ahead and just fire at that amphibian. It's going to be faster than the dinosaur here, and we're just going to dash to the right, and once we get past this thing, I like to jump here, because you should be making it off the screen with that jump set up, like right when you get past that structure. You can do a little bit earlier, but I like to make sure I don't land, I guess. Then we're not going to don't bother with the top route. The top route has enemies that you don't want to mess with, and there's a green crystal here on the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and fire up this stage right here. This one you want to try to jump off these enemies if you can, but these ones are hard because their necks and their hitboxes are kind of, so like you said, like that should have worked, but it didn't. That should have worked, but their hitboxes are really bad. But you can jump off those enemies, but the hitboxes just kind of suck. Moving forward, this level, there's a green crystal. Now there's something called a quick bite. I'm going to go for it if we get it. So it's you push, you do sort of like what a spin speed is in Link to the Past, from B to Y. You flip your fingers really quickly. You should bite mid jump, like right when you jump, and you should be able to collect this green. You should jump to the right and be able to collect this crystal immediately. Now Darkwing Duck does it, and he has it in his tutorial. So if I miss it here, check that out if you're wondering, because I'm probably gonna miss this. But this is what's called a quick. It's a quick bite, and you're gonna jump, then push bite immediately after you jump, and hold right. And you could grab this crystal while jumping. It's hard. Let's go for it. Yeah, I missed it. Let's try to go. That was it. Okay, I got it like third try. Don't go for it again and again and again like I just did. But I'm just trying to show it off. If you don't get it, then just jump and push a Y on the way down to make sure you get it. Like, that's probably what you're going to want to do at first. I really wanted to get that quick bite in because I haven't gotten any recent runs. I have gotten in a few runs, but none of them that have been submitted. But moving on. So we've got that green crystal. That's very important. We're going to be using that immediately once our amphibian runs out here. This stage just has a Triceratops. Just jump over him, avoid him, and continue forward. I'm pretty sure he has unlimited health. You won't be killing him if you attempt to, so don't even bother. This stage, just jump over the enemies here and just keep double tap. Like, if you just keep continuously tap right is sort of what I do. Just keep tapping right, and you'll get a double tap in there. And you can't, like, even if you do extra ones, it's not going to stop your dash. So if you just like keep mashing the right directional pad, you'll get into a double dash, and then you can jump over those enemies like I just did. This stage we can jump off some enemies here, but I guess don't count on it, I guess. Like that. And then once we run out here, so we turn back into the dinosaur. It doesn't matter where you actually should. This should happen on the next level. This happened a little bit early here, but that's because I was going for the quick bite and I kept missing it. No big deal. Once we run out, I'll review that amphibian again immediately. So here we go. And this is gonna wear off a little bit earlier than this, but I'm absolutely confident with the frog boss. So if you're not, maybe you want to do that at the end of this level. If it runs out early, if you're not confident with the fight, you might want to wait. But other than that, just jump on these Stegosauruses. Complete that level, and here we have the frog boss. He doesn't show up immediately. You have to actually go to the right of the screen on the first time here. So mash the text boxes, and you'll jump like it's set up like perfect, like double tap and then mash, and then you'll jump like right after that, like perfectly. So here we're gonna end up into the frog boss. Now, optimally, you don't want him to jump at all. I usually, most of my fights, he doesn't end up jumping because you can just double tap bite him, and he's going to have a huge knockback on the fierce jaws. Are going to knock him back quite a bit. So you're going to have to keep double tap. You're going to have to keep dashing into him and then biting. Like before, you obviously you don't dash into him and get hit or hit. You know, you dash and then bite right before you, like right when you get really close to him, bite him. So pretty much explained all that you need to know there. Let's just show it off here. Double tap. Keep dashing into him and biting, and you should be able to get him without jumping. Is the idea here. So I don't know, like I just like during this text scene here, I'm like constantly mashing the right D-pad to make sure I get immediately into double dash. By the way. Okay, so I was a little bit short on that first bite. Doesn't matter. Oh, okay, they jumped. That doesn't matter. And then grab the meat here. Now, in a bird percent run, you're going to need 1750. So it's fine to kill him on the far right of the screen here. In a bird percent run, it's not fine. I would have tried to get him to the left a little bit more, because so I don't miss out on the meat. Because we have different builds at this point in the game. This is where the run, you know, takes a fork in the road for whether it's the same exact. The speed run is exactly the same for like just about every category you do up to this point, except for New Game Plus. The speed run is going to be the same. This is the crossroad. This is where the run changes depending on what you're doing. And if you're doing a mammal percent run, you would get the 1500 jaws here, and you would get the 200 back of the dorsal fin, and then the 100 tails, which the three upgrades that you would get, and you would need the 2000 because it costs like 1,850 or something. But you don't need all. You can skip one of the meats in bird percent, which is very important to know because you don't want to waste your time grabbing that extra meat in bird percent because we're not getting the jaw, which we would be. We're getting the jaws in mammal, which we're not here because we don't need them for the T-Rex. So in an 80% bird run, the equips that you're going to get is a 500 back of the head, okay, which is going to increase our speed drastically, and then the 1,000. Okay, the 1,000 back dorsal fin here. And then the, 100 tail here, which is the snake tail. So the snake tail, the whatever spiked dorsal fin, whatever, and the first upgrade for back of the head for 5. Like it's the only one for 5. These two are, it's the 500. The 500 one gives you a speed boost. These ones give you tackle and defense boost and stuff like that. Yeah. Okay. But anyway, you want to get the tail for 100 here. So the back of the head for 500, tail for 100, and dorsal fin for 1,000. So this is the setup here. You should still be the amphibian athlete. You definitely should be the amphibian. I was not worrying about that, worrying about the setup. So you should still have the amphibian on this stage, and it should run out after the water. So keep rolling. You got these Triceratops here. Not a big deal if it even does run out after, because you can still get this set up and get around them generally fast. Anyway, it doesn't matter when it just if you're on a good run, you're gonna have a good boss fight, and the amphibian should not wear out until the end of the stage, or even after the stage, fairly fast. So again, swimming at the top of the water here avoids the enemies. They have their long necks. They'll swim up. They should never get. If they do get way up there and jump, but I've never really seen these enemies to the point where they can hit you. So jump out of here. And at this point, we're going to be getting the bird. And so now all of our experience that we got, all the experience that we got from the frog, everything we did, it means, and we're not even going to save the dinosaur evolution because it's not even it's no better than the amphibian. The amphibian is completely better. Oh, okay. This is what you don't want to have happen. You don't want these guys to come pick you up and grab you because you'll see it wastes a lot of time. And good example there, nice showing of how much time you can lose But jump up here, and you want to avoid these guys. And what you can do is you can bite them, or you can just kind of really get out of their way, like that. This next one you're gonna need to bite. It's too tight of quarter. Like you can't. You're gonna need to every time you jump, bite. Like jump, bite, jump, bite, jump, bite, bite, jump, and then get up here. That one you're gonna have to continuously bite. Like if you do not bite him like that, he's gonna not. And this one wastes even more time because you get thrown down and have to transition to the other screen, and then go all the way back up the tower again. So this one wastes a lot. So I'm extra careful with this one. The other one I kind of try to just get around, which I didn't. I wasn't ready for him there, but it's no big deal. It kind of shows you how much time you can lose by getting picked up by that. Just jump right off of there, and you're gonna turn into the bird, and this begins the any % bird run, which is what that entails. And head out. So now, again, another fork in the road. If you're really new at the game and you don't want to go with the optimal strat, which I'm going to do and show you right here, you can wait for this cloud. You see this cloud that's hovering over me now? You can actually get in this cloud, and it's going to take you to this area right here. There's a dragon that you can collect. There's a gargoyle you can collect. And there is a blue crystal for 9,999 experience, which is the reason why you would come here. The thing is, they're really slow as a bird, and yeah, I have several videos of me navigating this on YouTube and stuff, and I show you the route in 100% record evolution, so we're not going to bother with that. If you want to know the route and all that, just check out my 100% record evolutions run, or check out. There's a extra video I have on my walkthrough of this game, so we're not going to worry about that. I am going to show you the optimal route of what to do when you get the bird, and this is what you are going to want to learn eventually. So we're going to head into this water level that we were at previously. This time we're going to go down and fight some of the enemies. And here, I get wrecked. Hopefully this new controller doesn't fail me. Gonna try to explain here. You'll get one shot, like you'll get ricochet. They do 10 damage, and what's gonna happen? He's gonna like hit you several times if it gets out of hand. And the worst thing that can happen is if you stacked up a bunch of experience, and then he kills you, and then you lose half of your experience. So this could potentially be a huge time loss. But hopefully I can show this off properly. There's different experience routes that you can take here too. The Darkwing Duck, I think, does less experience. I get more experience just simply because it allows me to kill the T-Rexes faster, it allows me to move faster on the stages, and if I'm going to do any grinding, it's going to be here. And I like to have that extra experience going into the mammoth fight on the next world. So I'll show you what I do. Hopefully I don't screw this up. So we're going to enter this water level, head down, and we're going to fight the oysters. They break off 500 experience per kill, but you can only do 1 damage per hit, and you have to hit them like 5 to 10 times, like 10 times or something. And if you miss a hit or if you miss a dash or a tackle, they will start ricocheting. So this is definitely advanced. If you don't feel comfortable with this, once again, you can go into that cloud and navigate that maze up there and collect. There's a blue crystal way up in the sky, high in the clouds, that you can grab for 9,999 experience, which is the alternative to this. But this is the more optimal strat and what we do here, and I'll show you. We're going to tackle into this guy. Hopefully, screw it up. Yeah, this controller is much better than the other one. Oh, but I still screwed up. Because I was trying to go super optimal. It's a lot easier once you get the first upgrade, because you get a little bit more speed. This first one that you have to kill is the worst of them, and that pretty much demonstrates why. I don't know what happened with Blunt. He was a dragon for a long time. Then all of a sudden, it just wore out randomly.
Isn't another fish made?
That was really intriguing to me because I've never. It's supposed to be a limited time, and he like extended it. Let's come down here. So just tackle him a bunch of times, and hopefully you do not screw this up. So if he gets out of it, just kind of avoid him. And there's actually the screen's going to lag if there's a lot of enemies, and it's actually useful for the screen to lag because then you have it's a little bit easier to get these dashes in. So after the first kill, we're going to get the 500 back of the head. That, again, remember, it gives us a big speed upgrade, and that'll allow us to move more freely, and these oysters are a lot easier after that first one. Once you get this 500 back of the head, that's the first upgrade that we're going to get. Now, once again, the experience routes can vary. You can make up whatever you want here, but I like to go for the 3,000 tail next, so I kill 6 more of these guys back to back. If I am about to die and I have 1,000 experience, I will throw on the dorsal fin for 1,000 because I'm going to be getting that anyway, but it's just a little backup that I'll have towards getting the 3,000 because that's a big step. So once I get to the first 1,000, I'm usually safe, even if I can at least get an upgrade in. But again, so now I'm going to kill 6 of these guys. It's a lot easier with this thing in the back of the head. It's, for me at least, because you move more freely and it just seems to be a lot more, less stressful, I guess, to go for these. So it should look like that. I did die right away, which does show you how lethal these guys are, which is good, I guess. But this D-pad is a lot better than my last controller, so this is probably the one I'm going to be bringing to AGDQ. So I grind out to 3,000 experience, kill 6 of these guys. It's really quick grinding if you have ever played the game casually and grinded a bunch of enemies for 10 experience a pop. Yeah, we're getting 50 times that every kill here, which that just sums it all up right there of how much faster this is. So bam, I get to 3,000, and then I go for the maximum tail upgrade for 3,000. This drastically increases the speed, which is why I really like it at the beginning, because then from here on out we're just zipping through all the stages. But again, you can get around this and just get like the 1,000 back of the head, or back of the dorsal fin, and then just maybe get like an extra beat or something and avoid the tail upgrade until later. But I like to just go ahead and grab it now. So this is what I do in my route. So now that I've got the 500 back of the head and the 3,000 tail, I'm going to get one more upgrade while I'm here, so I'll grind out another 1,000. This will give it a lot more knockback, so if you're not comfortable with that, and I don't think I like it as much, so again, maybe I'll stack up to 4,000 or something, or leave that until I get all them, because this really knocks them back pretty far, and that could screw you over like it just did right there. So I think I like the just having the back of that. That seems to be the most consistent for when I'm killing these guys. But again, you can do it either way. So I'm gonna grab one more meat, and that'll be the last one. Like when they're up against the wall, it doesn't matter, but when you're knocking them back a lot, it doesn't seem to be nice. So here, I like to get the 1,000 dorsal upgrade. So now you're going to be looking like this. This is what I do. Again, you can differ. This is the upgrades that you're going to want eventually anyway throughout the run, but I just like to get it here right now because it helps me defeating the T-Rexes, going through all the stages really quickly. The grinding's not that much. It just takes, like, what, 20 more seconds to grind out optimally these little oysters. Once you've gotten all your upgrades, again, we can hit L and R to exit the level. We don't have to go to the right and leave. We just hit L and R and you're out of the level. L and R simultaneously. And then we're going to continue forward. So now we've got our bird pretty much stacked up. And at this point, we're just going to fight bosses and avoid the stages. And what makes the bird the bird run really cool is all the stages are super easy because you can just fly right over them. So for example, right here, all I have to do is jump up, fly, and double tap right, and there you go. Level's over. just fly right past everything, and that's pretty much what every stage is good. That's why the bird is the best, but it just takes too damn long to get them all set up before you could do things otherwise with the mammal. So, something like that. Just fly right past. You can go all a little bit higher. You can go higher and higher if you want. You know, if you feel that that's going to help you get away from the
Higher
enemies.
into the close.
You just keep getting higher. And here's the dreaded T-Rexes. On the Japanese version, it's 4 text boxes. I think it's like 6 or something on American. Anyway, just keep mashing. Well, don't just keep getting through the text until you see the option, and then select the second one. Because otherwise, you're going to get a story or an alternate ending, which is going to cost you some time. So just hit the second option here. And then we're gonna be tackling these T-Rexes. Now the trigger here seems to be something like kill 5 T-Rexes and then move left and right when there's no enemies on screen, and you should be able to hit the trigger. But if you don't know, so just keep killing T-Rexes, and eventually you'll get through the stage. I'm gonna get up to 2,000 experience at least, and then exit because I want to get the body, which is going to give us more tackling power. So let's just go ahead and get right into this. Hit no here, and then we're going to be. I usually go for just the middle T-Rex, and you don't need the green crystal here. Actually, you can. At this point, we're just going to be using the bird throughout the whole run. So just don't even bother with the green crystal as the bird. As the mammal, you're going to want to grab it. It's very important you grab the green crystal as the mammal, but as the bird, just avoid it. So here we go. Just deal with these T-Rexes. I just go for this one right here continuously. And you can stack these guys up. I think you can attack like 2 at once, but that's if you're feeling frisky there and creative and want to up the risk of the run. But I just take this guy out, and it's super easy as the bird because all you gotta do is just tackle him, and there's like no way you can get you. So there you have it. So I didn't get up to 2,000 experience, which I kind of wanted to do, but not a big deal.
Crispy!
You can, what I could have done is killed another oyster, and then I would have had 2,000, but I think that's what I used to, I don't even remember. I think it's like either 500 or 1,000, and I think you can kill a few more. You don't really want to. You want to trigger that door as soon as possible, so I think maybe another oyster would have been fine. You get another, or you could just not even kill that other, and the EXP route is really up to you, what you want to do. What I did in my run, which I would recommend checking out after this if you want to see a really good run, a bird percent run. I really did good. The only mistake was like the RNG because I got the manta ray instead of the eel. But other than that, the execution was really good. The final boss wasn't perfect, but the final boss is really hard. It's harder as the bird as opposed to the mammal because of the cockroach exclusively. So now we're on to World 4. At this point in the game, we already have what we need here, and we're just going to be basically fighting bosses and avoiding stages, and we don't evolve further. You can turn. This is where you turn into the mammal, but if you've gotten the bird, you don't want to avoid the mammal because the bird is faster than the mammal. So what we're going to do here is the bird, for this rolling deep bird percent tutorial, let's just fly up here and dash. And then head over here. So this is where you get the mammal. If you're the bird, just enter the cave, leave the cave. So enter the cave like that, and then leave the cave like that, and then hit L and R immediately. Like just keep mashing L and R to leave this and
roll it.
Head on. If you're doing mammal percent, you would be the dinosaur there, and you would get the mammal, and you would start from scratch. But here, as the bird, this is where the end game's really sweet as the bird because
rolling deep.
you can just fly past everything. Here on this stage, again, enter the cave, leave the cave, LNR. There's nothing in the cave but a bunch of rats, and they give you 10 experience, which we grinded the cloisters or whatever anyway, the Omnistar, whatever. Then we get to this stage. I believe you want to go in the cave. You could go over. You can go up and over. That's fine too, but I'm thinking you want to go in the cave because it heads. There's like 2 extra levels or something the other way, I believe. To get to this point, keep heading on. And fly right past it. We don't need the green crystals as the bird was. The bird is the best, so we don't. There's no point on de-evolutionizing yourself into a worse creature. You could use it for like the amphibian or something for the final boss, but then you're like he just doesn't have like he's very vulnerable to die at that point, and I wouldn't recommend doing that. Because that's really all. That's the only evolution you're gonna have, and you're only gonna be using that slot 1 evolution for bird percent. And mammal, you would record the dinosaur and use them for this mammoth coming up. And again, I'm just flying to the there's nothing for me really to discuss, but fly to the right of these stages and you're done. So I'm just kind of going over other things. Don't need to go into depth on stages that you just fly past. But the mammoth fight that's coming up, in the mammal percent run, you would be using the recorded dinosaur to get him in a bite lock. What we have to do here is tackle him, and there is a pretty crispy setup that I think I might be able to show off here as the bird, and it works out pretty nicely. As soon as I get the 2,000 experience, I'm going to get the body for 2,000. The body for 2,500 gives you 2 more tackle, but the problem is it slows your movement down. We don't want that. We don't, because we're flying through these stages. The idea is to be as fast as possible, and you're going to slow your character down with the other upgrades. So we're just going to get the 2,000 because that one gives us more tackle power and doesn't slow us down. So we're going to grab that upgrade as soon as I kill 2 of these men. And this point, you just want to tackle them from left to right. When they spawn, you want to be on the left side. They're going to come all the way over to the left, and then you can tackle them to the right. So let's see if I can just show this one off here. So I don't know. You can dash into this, but then you might dash right into a bubble. So again, kind of just come into this. If your hit points are low like mine, you want to be a little bit extra careful, but this fight shouldn't be a problem if you do it right. So let's just go ahead and I'm going to try to get him to run to the left side and then just keep smacking him on the right side. So he's gonna come over here. Bam, 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 bam. Just like that. and say bam while you're doing it. Bam, 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 bam. Get crispy with it. And then once we get 2,000, bam, get this upgrade. Again, head all the way left. That's what's gonna trigger. He's gonna run towards you, and then you're set. Just keep knocking him. That's the setup as the bird. You don't need to kill this pink one. You can for experience, but we don't need it. So just go ahead and fly to the left of the screen there. And then we get to this stage, and this stage is a lot better with the bird because you can just fly where you need to go, whereas you have to go on foot and you can't go upwards. You can't go straight to these portals. So there's 2 different ways to go about this first. So this first screen here, we're going to fly up and trigger this because touching that gets you up here. And if you touch it on the bottom, this guy's going to fly up really slowly. So we want to fly up on the top of this pillar here. So that's less of the animation of him picking because you fly a lot faster than he'll pull you up. So we want to go to that as the bird. We get here. There's 2 different ways to go about this. You can go to the top of the screen and fly right, and you should be able to avoid most of the stuff until the end. Or you can try to go for the more optimal jumps, and those are a little bit more tricky because you got to jump off these enemies, and it might take damage. But I'm gonna go for the more optimal jumps and see what I can get. Again, you can just go to the top of and fly right, not a big deal. But let's see if I can get some. Like, you want to jump off the enemy because your jumping is actually slightly faster than the flying, believe it or not. Except for the fact when you land, you lose momentum. But if you keep jumping off enemies, you'll keep that momentum and it'll be faster. So let's see what I can get going here. Not very. This is jump, 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 jump. Ooh, you can jump. You can keep jumping. That's what, and then you can either run into there at the end or whatever. But you can keep that. I had it going there for a second and kind of saw. Oh, you can slash me. Here, I like to fly here and go in this first middle portal. Just keep. There's only one way here. Go straight to this one. Re-enter the portal as soon as you, as the bird. Re-enter the portal. Head right. Head up, and head left, and you'll be at the boss. So, really simple if you know what you're doing and you have it, mapped out, and you'll get to this point. And then once again, right here. I don't like to enter into any bosses in the dashing motion because then you'll continue that. But it could be good if you just do that and hit A, whatever. Anyway, on the Japanese version, it's 9 text. I think it's 12 on English. It's 9 text boxes here. So if you're map, you just go through 9 or count to 9, and then hit the second option. Wait till the it's better to go slow and make sure you get this. Especially on your first. I mean, when you're trying to optimize it more, you gotta mash there. But just count to 9 on Japanese or 12 on English, whatever it is, and hit the bottom one. Or else you'll have to go through that whole castle again. You'll have to go through a bunch of bullshit. Don't worry about that. Just hit this. And for this fight, you want to just keep tackling on the left side, and you should, if you're really quick with these tackles, you should be able to get them off before he breaks the orbs out, and that's what we're trying for here. But if you're not comfortable with that, you can manipulate him to throw the orbs at you and then move out of the way and then tackle him. There's 2 different strats. I definitely go for the faster one, which is to try to just immediately tackle him as soon as possible and keep that rhythm. And if you can really get it going, then you can get this boss fight really quick and easy. But again, sometimes he flies to the left, sometimes he flies to the right at the beginning. So this fight, maybe he'll fly to the right and bump into you or something, and that could be bad. And I think it would be fine to enter this fight dashing into him and then hit A. That's fine. Well, let's see how this fight goes. See if I get a good one here. Okay, yeah, just do this basically. Okay, so he gets the orbs off every once in a while. And if you run out of health or get to low, what we're gonna do here is upgrade our jaws for 100. Now I only have enough points to do this twice at the moment, but it's a good thing I do have it. Again, you might want to come into this fight with more E.V.O points. So like grind maybe some of the enemies outside, but you're gonna want to do this if you get wrecked like that. Okay. Okay. Not the best fight. It started out okay, but he did get some of his orbs off. I'd still just kind of go for it regardless. And then keep it rolling here. So this is, I guess, the final of the World 4, right before the final world. And this is 2 bosses in a row now. Again, I don't like to start these fights dashing into them, but this one would be fine again, but you don't want to get like severely wrecked by this guy, I guess. So for this one, you can dash into him. You want to kind of create some room and just keep, and if you can, get to the other side of him, and then, where there's a huge way that you can just keep dashing and tackling. Like, if you're going in the corner, you try to keep rigging him there, he's probably going to get a jump off or 2. I like to just kind of sweep him across the floor, if you will. So, something like this. Okay. See, he's going to get that jump off, but I was dashing, so I like him to do this here. and then then let him jump over or whatever, and then start tackling to the other side where there's all this room that I can get him at. Okay. Ooh. Okay. So again, that fight can go a lot better. I'm pretty sure it went really well in my any % bird run. So if you're looking for a good fight, definitely check that out. Again, if you're really interested in speedrunning the game, and I would definitely recommend watching my run, possibly Darkwing Duck's run, and just experimenting with stuff on your own. So here we go, rolling into the Mama Yeti fight. This one, she does a lot more damage, so you want to be more careful with this, but same kind of thing, just get her over or whatever, and just kind of keep tackling her until you get her in the corner, and then kind of go out. So something like this is pretty good. See, that's why I don't like to stay, because then they can hit you. So I like having the room to keep sliding them to the right, left, or right. Eat all the meat, whatever. Grab all the meat, and then I dash a certain direction, and then the little ape's going to show up. And that completes the 4th world, and once again, we've been hooked up since the end of World 3. You don't need to worry about experience. And at this point I have enough experience for everything I need to the end of the game. And this is the last world. And this has a bunch of little stages. There's 3 bosses. There's the final boss. There's the King of the Apes or whatever. You know, the Monkey King. It's a good name for him. And there's what I call the Loch Ness Monster or the sea creature. And yeah, so on all the levels you're just flying over them, and then on the bosses is really all I need to talk about. And again, you can jump off. I think it is a little bit faster than flying over the levels, but again, it's more advanced. But you can just fly either way. It's not a big difference. But jumping is slightly faster if you can jump off enemies. So you're gonna want to try to, I guess, opt for that. This is a much. That sometimes they're set up right immediately. I guess before you land, you can always push B and then start flying. I guess that'd be faster than landing. On all 3 of these water levels, as the bird just fly over the water like that. Because if you go in the water, you'll evolve into a sea, and it takes time for the evolution and all that. Then you can jump out of the water and gotta evolve back into the land creature. So definitely avoid the water. Just fly right over. Pretty straightforward. Like, there's nothing else I really need to say here. Just fly over the water. Just stay high in the clouds. Alright. Here for the bears, I like to kind of get up a little bit high and fly here. You can try jumping on them, but good luck with that, because they can knock the stuffing out of you. So I just like to kind of do that, and it seems to work. Here are the horses, jump on them. That was pretty sweet. Get here. Now again, on some of your first runs you might want the jaws, so here I'm going to try to, this one would be a good one to fly over. You can jump on them as well, but that wasn't a good demonstration of jumping. Once you get to this level, on some of your first runs you might want to grab there's a blue crystal for 5,000 experience, and I'll show you, here's what you do optimally on this. You just immediately enter the level, and that's like, optimally, you just don't. That's what you just enter the level, leave the level, and continue. You don't even mess with anything here. But on some of your earlier runs, or and if you're first getting into it, you might want to. It doesn't take that much time. Just fly up. Fly up, and there's gonna be a blue crystal up here. Okay, it's for 5,000 experience. I'm not gonna get it because I don't like it. Optimally, you're not gonna be messing around here. But you can grab that and then get the T-Rex jaws for 5,000. And if you like, because if you would prefer the jaws for the final boss or whatever in any of the bosses, you can go ahead and grab that. But it's not. It's not like something I would get anymore because most tackling works just fine. So head into the monkey fortress here, and this is where the bird again just rolls way too deep. He's gonna fly on the top, kind of like that, and then instead of using the elevator like you normally would as the mammal, you can just fly up here. So we're gonna go straight to the first elevator, fly up to the next floor, then I guess go to the top. You can fly right here until you get to this elevator, and then go up 2 floors here. So 1, 2. And then, again, you want to be all the way on the top of the ceiling here, and if you just double tap, you'll get past everything just fine. So the bird just, because this is a chaotic part right here with these monkeys throwing rocks at you and stuff. If you're at the top here, just double tap right, you'll get around all this. Nothing's going to hit you. So as the bird, that's a real smooth and clean thing to have in the run. In here, I like to slow it down. To the boss fight. If you die, you'll be able to re-enter this boss fight immediately. You don't have to go through that monkey cave again, but you shouldn't be dying here now. He's gonna jump, down. You're gonna once he lands, you'll start to you want to tackle him, and you can try to rig him in the corner, but he's probably gonna jump up before you can do that. So for the most part, just whenever he jumps, just wait for him to land and then go run up and tackle him. So let's see what we get here. So tackle him there, he's gonna jump, tackle, jump, tackle, tackle. Oh, he's getting, oh! and if you get wrecked like that, just break out the 100 upgrade for the jaws, whatever. That's because I was trying to get greedy there instead of like waiting for him to jump. Just whatever, it's not a big deal. That fight could be hard, it could go wrong, but if it does, again, when you've got your evolutions, glitch to restore your health. So here you actually have to jump into the water. You can't like go to the left of this. You have to actually jump in the water before it allows you to keep going, because you have to be a sea creature before you can advance. So you get to this screen. Again, top of the water, double tap left. You should be avoiding all the enemies. That's all there is to it there. Here we have a couple sharks. You might need to tackle the second one or something, or just try to get around it. Like this, yeah, this guy can be a problem. If he bite, whatever. Not a big deal. And then we get to the sharks with freaking laser beams on their freaking heads. And here, yeah, the bird is really tall and funky, so just watch out. The rocks are going to probably stop you. So go to the far left, go down here, keep going down until you get to the bottom here, and then go right, and then down on the first thing you see here, and then left. So you get here, and then go up, and then go left, and you'll make it to the boss. As simple as that. Just whatever, rewind that, whatever, write it down, whatever you need to do. Get into this fight here, and I'll show you what. So again, you're going to get an option. Select the second option. So it's it's usually 4 text boxes, except for the Birdman, who is 9 text boxes. But 1, 2, 3, 4 down. Select that. Again, if you've got the T-Rex jaws, you can use them on this boss. It works okay, but the tackling works just fine. So I'll show you what to do with the tackle strat here. Or something like that. Probably gonna get hit by that being no big deal. It's more important to get these tackles in. And I like to just down tackle like this. Get him down here. You might get hit by a beam or two, whatever. You don't need the meat, just continue. Honestly, I don't need, like, all that 4,000 I don't need, it's just there. In case I need to do some E.V.O. Evolutions to restore health. And you'll get your health back once you get out of here, so don't worry about, like, healing or anything, or, like, after this. You get a free heal after this. So hit L and R right after that whale, and then it elects the level. Then you got this
Well,
level.
if it isn't another fish made nigga.
And the warp is now activated that you've gone and done that underwater level. So jump off these enemies if you can, and head to this middle of these pillars. There's like 4. You can tell that there's no pillar here, and push A. And you'll warp over to the other side. And here is the second to last level here before the final, or the second to last level. And all it is T-Rexes that you fly around like this. Nothing to it. There's the bird. And then we get to this part. Now, we have to fight a caveman, and this fight is a lot harder as the bird, so I like to go ahead and upgrade stuff here to kill him faster, because if he knocks you off screen, that's going to be a big time loss. And this fight can go downhill if he knocks you around. So go ahead and go in here. I like to make my upgrades here once I get to this point, but you can. It's going to be slower for the inside, but you're going to need to do this anyway for the final boss. I like to get the body for 2,500 here, or you could just do one of these upgrades or not the other. Like, it's whatever you want. And then the back of the head for the bottom 1,000 here. This increases our tackle power by 4, but it slows us down. So if you, again, it's going to be a little bit slower inside here after this, but it's not a big deal if you're struggling with and the caveman is a big issue here. So we're going to start off by tackling him, and then we're going to jump, like he's going to jump over, you're going to go underneath and tackle, and then it's going to be a repetitive cycle. So let's just show you what that looks like here. You're going to start this battle up. You can start by dash and then, hit A afterwards. It's going to look like this. And then you can jump, go to go underneath him when he jumps, and then hit him the other way. Ooh, you don't want that. That was scary. You just about knocked me off screen, but just continuously do this. You could try to get 2 tackle. I've gotten a couple in, but the thing is, it's risky and it can knock you off screen. Or you could try to get him on the right of the wall. And he's got meat for 1,250. Grab as much as you want. It can be useful for evolutions during the final boss, so it's recommended that you at least get 1. But you shouldn't really need more than 1. But I just grabbed the extra just to that he gives a lot of experience. So if you want some experience, grab that. Here we are in the final dungeon, and once we get here, we don't need to take the elevator. Once again, it's the bird. So fly up 2 floors. So 1, 2 floors, and then fly right to the 3rd elevator here. So you'll see 1 elevator, 2, and the 3rd elevator. We can't fly down. We got to take the elevators down, but it's only 1 floor anyway. So then we get to here, head straight right. This is the only way to go. So we get lost here. And head down on this elevator. And then jump over him to the left, fly up. This guy's going to do a jumping kick usually. Fly left and you're at the final boss. You don't need the green crystals anymore. All you can really use it for is the amphibian, and he's a lot more inferior to the bird at this point. So again, you got to rewind that. You know, the raw footage there. If you want to know how to get back in here, not hard, just really simple once you know what to do.
I did it!
And here is the final boss of the game. Now again, you can bring in the 5,000 jars, and even like now I could get them if I wanted because I have like you can grab all the meat from the caveman and be able to get the 5,000 jaws. The only problem is that's what I usually use to restore my health. I flip on the 100 jaws. I switch my jaws around whenever I lose health, so it's not like I don't find it useful. You could, if you do get the 5,000, you could use the horn or something like that, or the net. You could get the neck upgrade for 200 each time or something to refill if you are getting the T-Rex jaws, but optimally you won't be needing them, and I'll show you a final boss fight here. So he has 8 orbs, and he's going to spit one each out, and each of them has something that comes out of it. The white orb and the light blue orb are freebies. The white orb gives you like a little amphibian that just runs across the screen. You don't have to fight him, and then the blue one gives you meat for 1,000. And then the other 6 are all mini bosses that you have to fight, and you have to defeat all the orbs and then attack the hand. So like each time after a boss or after an orb, you have to attack the hand to spit out another one, and then after you have to attack the hand to finish him off. But you'll be tackling him, and most of the time the downward tackles seem to be more consistent and reliable and all that. You're going to want to do that before, as opposed to like dashing right, because sometimes like the hand moves up and down, so you might not be able to hit him horizontally the same. Whereas like vertically, you have like a for sure hit on him. But like on your first hit, do an attack to the right and then go down. So we're just going to show this off here. The cockroach is the hardest, and then the amphibian, which is the yellow one with a little like stripes through it, is one of the harder ones, and then the cockroach, which is like the brown one with the lines, the checkerboard lines, is the cockroach. That one's pretty nasty, and then the eel is got a lot of hit points, but as the bird, there's a little setup for him, and it shouldn't go poorly. And if it does, once again, if you get low on hit points, if you're not feeling so safe, you can always make an evolution and restore your health, which is the main, like, don't die is the main thing of this boss, obviously, and if you're about to die, you can always do that. But if anything last second, if you get down to 0 hit points, just mash select, or like push it, and hopefully you'll pull it up, and you'll be able to restore your health. But let's just go ahead and get into this. This is the final boss. Hope you guys all enjoyed, and I want to see some people pick it up. Hopefully, I've heard a lot of people wanting to pick it up, but they just haven't got around to it. Here's a nice little video that you can learn from. I know I'm being really descriptive, but it's for good reason, because there's not a lot of resources out there. So thanks for watching, and let's go and fire up this final boss fight here. Okay, so like this, we're going to start a flat, so hit, and then like do like a downward tackle, because that seems to be really effective. So he's going to spit out one of his orbs, and this one is the bird. This one's really easy. So the lower you are, I think maybe not. She just kind of spawns wherever he wants to. So tackle, and then downward tackle a bunch of times on this guy like this. This is an excellent bird fight. And then I think you have to eat the meat for him to... But I could be wrong, but I think you have to eat the meat for him to be able to trigger another ball to come out. So I always just eat the meat. Here's the freebie. You get some free meat. So go ahead and eat that, and then attack him once again. And here we got the eel. He's got a lot of hit points, but as the bird, you can just keep tackling him downwards, and it should be an easy lock. It should be something like this. This controller's a lot better. The other one was really too loose for these. So keep doing that, and you'll get him before the hand comes out most of the time. Just keep doing that. And here we get this guy. This guy, if you screw this one up, he does like a roar, or whatever, he screams, and then that can become a problem. But if you can just keep knocking him before he gets a chance to get his attack off, you're fine. And ooh, okay, see, this is okay. So I'm low on hit points. I'm not feeling so confident. So I equip the 100 jaws real quick before something bad happens. Which I don't think I really need. Well, it's better than dying. That's a big deal. So now we got the jellyfish again. I like the downward tackle. Like this. Seems to be really effective. Because to the left, you're sometimes going to get stung. From the top here, he's really doesn't have nothing going on. So I just like to do these downward tackles like that. So bam. And bam. Here comes the amphibian. Now this one, I wait for him to jump, and then I continuously tackle downwards until he does the jump. Okay, he did it right away. He opened it up. I didn't react fast enough. Yeah, he's recognized it. But that's so he could give you two. So he'll either jump or do the green stuff. The green stuff. But this is a tricky one. This one you're probably gonna have to break out some extra health because he's got a lot of hit points. The hand's gonna come out eventually, which I need to hit it so it doesn't. Okay. And you want to get him in that lock that I had him in, like this. So once you get him in here, you're good. Just keep down tackling. He'll keep jumping and stuff. But the thing is, the hand's gonna come up and he's gonna throw you off. And hopefully, you would tackle his hand and the boss at the same time. That's what you really want. But it's not always going to happen, and a lot of times it's going to throw you off there. And if it does, if you're about to die or something, definitely heal up by making an evolution. So I'm probably going to get, yeah, the only thing left is the cockroach, and I'm low on health, so... Yeah. So for this one, ooh. I like to, so he's going to ring around in circles. I wait for him to come up to a certain point and dash. Kind of like this. You get into a rhythm with it, and then the hand comes up and throws off your rhythm all the time. Okay. And you don't want him like to the far right of the boss because then you can hit him. And you don't want him circling counterclockwise, I guess. Okay, got him. But the cockroach is the hardest part for the bird. I think with the jaws, it's a bit easier. So really, that's where the jaws would still be useful. But that's it. That was E.V.O. Search for Eden with my any % bird tutorial. Went on a little bit longer than I wanted to, but I got really descriptive with it and pretty serious about it. Usually I'm too busy drinking or smoking or, you know. But that's it. So that would have been a 140, 221.
This run did not PB.
Is it really bad?
Did not roll D. What the hell is this?
But obviously
you know
I stopped and explained everything about the game.
Roll D. Not at all.
So timing ends right at the end of there. So if you have any questions, you can find me at Twitter at rpg.gaming.95.
What is going on?
You can find me at RPG Gaming Thief, or RPG _gaming _THEIF, which has now been changed into Gambling Mudstick in Chinese and Gambling Thief in Japanese. I have Japanese text now for my name. So you can find me there. You could, I guess, comment below. This is going to be on YouTube. You can, I don't know, send me a private message on Twitch, on Twitter, on like YouTube. You can message below here and ask something. I don't. Whatever, however you feel like getting a hold of me. You could, if you really are serious about the game and want to talk to me personally, like over a Discord, Mumble, or Skype or something, I could do that. That could be arranged. I would prefer Discord and could, I could hit you up with invite to like a link to the past channel or something, or you could add like in Mumble with you. We could discuss any issues you're having, any problems you're having, whatever, man. Like something you're struggling with, you can't learn, or whatever it is. Like you're just not sure if you want to pick up the game, but you really like it or really want to discuss it. Whatever it is, you can hit me up, and I will respond if it's a reasonable question, And that's pretty much all I have. Darkwing Duck has a really nice tutorial, and me and him have different strategies and different and it does show that not everything has to be set in stone. Like you can do a Darkwing Duck strat for this part, or an RPG strat for this part, or a custom strat for that part, whatever, you can you can separately, you can have different experience routes for the bird. I did have a mammal percent. Hopefully, we're trying to get that back. I'm going to talk to somebody at GDQ about that and try to get that video back, because that's dumb. That my other tutorial is not available at the moment, but I'm pretty sure that had a really in-depth mammal tutorial. Yeah, the bird. So the bird is faster than the mammal, but the thing is, it takes 3 to 4 minutes to get the bird and get him experience. So that's why it takes that much time. But even with that, he comes back. My bird percent PB is only 40 seconds slower than my mammal PB, and both runs really good. And even my bird run, I got the mana ray, so that was 20 seconds right there. So it's really, really close. No matter what, either you pick bird or mammal, the categories are really close in optimization and how you can do that. So I'll be rolling out here, holding it down with the whiskey, and you can rewatch this at any time and whenever you need. And I really, really encourage people to start speedrunning this game, but above all else, play it casually. It's a really fun game. It's really hard to find. If you can't get a physical cartridge or a copy, play it on emulator, please. Try it out. It's a great game. It's an action RPG game that has just very unique values, and I definitely agree with the pricing range because it's such a good game. I agree. So have a good time, everyone. Rolling deep, rolling out, staying fresh, staying fly, staying legit, keeping it real with the E.V.O. search, reading tutorial, and speedruns.